ever catch yourself thinking about, all those thoughts constantly running through your head?
Yeah.
Well, that's your self-talk, and it's actually a lot more impactful than you might think.
Oh, absolutely.
Today, we're taking a deep dive into this world of self-talk,
Okay.
using excerpts from this article called
Right.
The Words You Repeatedly Say to Yourself.
Interesting title.
And our goal today is to really equip you with a better understanding of how these words can either empower you or actually hold you back.
Yeah, it's really amazing how often we just completely underestimate the impact of our inner dialogue. I mean, we tend to dismiss these thoughts
Yeah,
as,
right.
it's just fleeting and insignificant. But research has actually shown
Wow.
that they have a real measurable impact on our emotions, behavior, even mental health.
So it's not just like white noise?
It's not.
Yeah, not at all.
It's like having a team of coaches in your head.
Yeah.
Some are good, some are bad.
Some are supportive, some are
Exactly.
undermining. Yeah. And the article does a good job of breaking down these different types of self-talk and how they can affect us.
Yeah.
It mentions things like calming self-talk,
Mm-hmm.
like take a deep breath, which I'm sure we've all
Happen-
used at some point or another.
I mean, in a stressful situation, it can be really valuable
Yeah.
to just have that.
To hear that voice
Yeah.
in your head.
Right.
And then there's also like instructional self-talk, like bend your knees or, something like that.
Right, like an athlete might use
That's-
to improve their technique.
I mean, that's a great point. Think about the difference between, saying to yourself, yes, come on, let's go,
Right.
versus, I can't do this.
Exactly.
One fuels you with energy and the other.
You're already defeated before you've even...
Exactly. And this isn't just about,
Right.
feeling good or bad. It's like
It's not just a...
there's actual studies that show.
Yeah, there's a real impact on performance.
Yeah. So there's real science backing this up.
There's
Not just like, feel good fluff.
If not just touchy-feely
Yeah,
stuff.
I'm intrigued. Tell me more about this research on self-talk and performance.
Well, there's this fascinating study on basketball players
Okay.
where researchers found that those who practice positive self-talk
Mm-hmm.
showed significant improvement in their free throw accuracy compared to those who didn't.
Wow.
They were able to calm their nerves, focus their attention, and ultimately perform better under pressure.
That's incredible. Just by simply changing their inner dialogue, they were able to improve their skills.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
And it's not just athletes.
Mm-hmm.
The article also highlights research on people with OCD,
Okay.
where positive self-talk has been shown to help manage anxiety and reduce compulsive behaviors.
Wow. So it really can have like a
It can.
positive impact on
Yeah.
mental health conditions.
Absolutely.
That's really cool. I mean, we've all been there where you get in that negative spiral, and it just
Yeah.
makes things feel impossible.
Right.
But knowing that you can train your mind to think differently and create more positive outcomes is really encouraging.
A very hopeful message.
Yeah, so that's where the concept of positive self-talk comes in. It's like having your own personal cheerleader
Yeah, exactly.
in your mind.
It's that inner voice that's always rooting for you.
Yeah, always rooting for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about positive self-talk.
Okay.
What exactly is it,
Yeah.
and how does it work?
Positive self-talk involves using affirmations and mantras
Okay.
to encourage and motivate yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So affirmations are positive statements about yourself.
Yeah.
Things like, I am strong and capable,
Right.
or I believe in my ability to succeed.
Okay.
And by repeating these statements, you start to internalize them
Mm-hmm.
and believe them on a deeper level.
And then mantras.
Yeah.
Those are the short, powerful phrases you repeat to stay focused and positive, right?
Exactly. Like, I am grateful, or
Yeah.
I am worthy.
Yeah, I've definitely heard of those before.
Yeah.
But I never really thought about, the science behind why they work.
Well, it's fascinating. These practices actually tap into the power of neuroplasticity,
Okay.
which is your brain's ability to change and adapt based on your experiences.
Wow.
So by repeatedly engaging in positive self-talk,
Okay.
we're essentially rewiring our brains to focus on the positive.
So it's like you're literally changing the structure of your brain.
You're creating new neural pathways
Wow.
associated with self-belief and resilience.
That's amazing. But the article also mentions real-life examples
Yeah.
of how positive self-talk has helped people, right?
It does.
Because I'm always more convinced by stories than just
Uh-huh.
abstract concepts.
Yeah, it talks about Jason, a high school swimmer
Okay.
who was struggling with performance anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
due to negative comments from his teammates.
Right.
And he started using positive self-talk
Okay.
to combat these thoughts.
Yeah.
Repeating affirmations like, I am strong, I am capable, I am a good swimmer.
Right.
And guess what?
What?
His performance actually improved.
That's amazing. So just by simply changing his self-talk, he was able to overcome his anxiety and perform at his best.
Exactly.
That makes me wonder if there are other practical ways that you can implement this concept of positive self-talk
Absolutely.
in everyday life.
There are lots of techniques.
Okay.
We'll be exploring those in detail
Awesome.
later in our deep dive.
Sounds good.
But for now, let's shift gears a little bit
Okay.
and talk about the other side of the coin. Negative self-talk.
Okay, yeah.
I think we all have that inner critic
Oh, yeah.
that loves to point out our flaws and,
Right.
predict disaster.
But what are the real consequences of letting that run wild?
Well, it can be incredibly damaging.
Really?
The article paints a pretty vivid picture of the various forms that it can take.
Okay.
There's self-criticism, where you're constantly judging yourself harshly and focusing on your shortcomings.
Right.
Then there's catastrophizing,
Okay.
where your mind jumps to the worst-case scenario in every situation,
Right.
amplifying anxiety and fear.
Right. And then there's perfectionism,
Oh, yeah.
which I always think is like a positive thing, but actually
It sounds good on the surface.
it can be so damaging.
It can set you up for constant disappointment.
Yeah, I have definitely struggled with that one in the past. Where everything is either
It's either good or bad.
good or bad.
Success or failure.
Success or failure.
No in-between.
Yeah, no middle ground.
No gray areas.
So you're stuck in that world of black and white,
Yeah.
which can make it hard to
Right. It can be very stereotypical.
appreciate the small victories.
Rigid and limiting.
Yeah, or even learn from your mistakes.
Exactly. It prevents you from seeing the nuances and complexities of life.
Right. So instead of seeing the shades of gray,
Yeah.
you're just
Stuck in a very...
black and white, limited perspective.
Yeah, how do those negative thought patterns
Whoa.
really impact us? Like, what are the real-world consequences?
The consequences can be quite significant.
Okay.
Low self-esteem is a big one.
Yeah.
When you feel inadequate and unworthy, it can seep into every area of your life,
Yeah.
affecting your relationships, your
Mhm.
career, your overall well-being.
It's like that self-fulfilling prophecy.
Exactly.
You start to believe those negative thoughts,
Right.
and then you act in ways that just confirm them.
You behave in ways that
Yeah.
reinforce those beliefs.
I can see how that would lead to a
Yeah.
downward spiral.
It's a vicious cycle.
And it's not just about
It also-
self-image.
It's not just about how you see yourself.
The article also links negative self-talk
Yeah.
to increased anxiety and depression problems in relationships, and even missed opportunities,
Yeah.
because you're just too afraid to take risks.
Because you're so paralyzed by fear and self-doubt. It's almost like that inner critic is sabotaging your chances.
Yeah, it's like you have an internal saboteur.
So how do we start to transform this
Right.
inner dialogue?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
How do we cultivate a more
Mhm.
positive and empowering inner voice?
Yeah.
That's a great question. And luckily,
Yeah.
it's not an impossible task.
Okay.
The article lays out a roadmap
Okay.
for transforming our self-talk.
I like roadmaps.
Yeah.
So give me the step-by-step guide
Right.
to taming that inner critic.
Well, the first step, and this might seem obvious,
Okay.
is becoming aware of your self-talk patterns.
Right.
It's like tuning into a radio station.
Okay.
You've always had playing in the background, but never really listened to.
Right.
What are the dominant frequencies?
Okay.
Are they upbeat and encouraging, or more like doom and gloom?
So it's about becoming a mindful observer
Yeah.
of those thoughts
Exactly.
instead of letting them just run on autopilot.
Yeah, just notice them, become aware of them.
So what's a good way to actually do that?
Journaling is a fantastic tool for this.
Okay.
Take a few minutes each day to simply write down the thoughts that come up.
Mm-hmm.
Without judgment, don't try to change them. Just notice them.
Okay.
You might be surprised at what you discover.
That's interesting. I've always thought of journaling as a way to process emotions, but I never really thought about it as like a tool to understand my
Yeah.
self-talk patterns.
It can be incredibly revealing.
Yeah.
Once you start paying attention,
Okay.
you'll likely see recurring themes or patterns.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you're overly critical of yourself.
Right.
Or perhaps you tend to catastrophize even minor setbacks.
Okay.
Recognizing these patterns is the first step to breaking free.
Gotcha. So you're saying once we've identified those negative patterns,
Yeah,
we can start to challenge them.
exactly.
I imagine that's easier said than done.
Well, it is.
How do you go about dismantling those deeply ingrained
It's about putting those negative thoughts on trial.
Okay.
Don't just accept them as truth.
Right.
Ask yourself, is there any evidence to support this thought?
Mm-hmm.
Is this based on facts?
Right.
Or just my fears and insecurities?
Okay.
Often you'll find that those negative thoughts are based on distorted perceptions.
Yeah.
Or outdated belief
Okay.
that no longer serve you.
So questioning the validity of those thoughts
Exactly.
and demanding proof before you let them dictate your
Yeah, don't let them run the show.
feelings and actions.
Take control.
But what about when those negative thoughts feel so overwhelmingly true,
Right.
even if they're not logically sound?
Logically sound right.
That's where reframing comes in.
Okay.
It's the art of taking a negative thought
Yeah.
and turning it into a more positive or realistic one.
Gotcha.
So, for example, instead of saying, I'm going to fail this presentation,
Right.
try saying, I've prepared well, and I'm going to do my best to communicate my ideas clearly.
Okay, so it's shifting your perspective from like
Yeah.
a place of fear and self-doubt
Right.
to a place of confidence.
Right.
Exactly.
Fun possibility.
It's about choosing a more empowering perspective.
And that's where those affirmations and mantras we talked about earlier
Exactly.
can really come in handy.
They can be really helpful.
Yeah, so if I'm feeling anxious about a big meeting,
Mm-hmm.
I might repeat to myself, I am calm, confident, and prepared.
There you go.
Yeah, and it sounds simple, but
It is simple, but it's powerful.
I can see how that could help shift your
Yeah.
energy and focus.
Absolutely.
Are there other techniques for reframing negative thoughts?
Yeah, one that I find particularly helpful is to look for the opportunity for growth
Mm-hmm.
or learning in every situation.
Okay.
So instead of viewing setbacks as failures, ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience?
Okay.
Or how can I use this to grow stronger and wiser?
So you're reframing those challenges as opportunities for growth.
It's about seeing the silver lining.
Yeah, and development, rather than viewing them as threats or signs of weakness.
Right. It's about turning those challenges into opportunities.
Right. And speaking of shifting perspectives,
Yes.
let's talk about the power of gratitude.
Gratitude.
The article really emphasizes this.
Yeah, it's a key ingredient
as like a key tool.
for cultivating a more positive mindset.
Okay. I've heard a lot about the benefits of gratitude.
Mm.
I've always been a little skeptical.
Yeah.
It seems almost too simple.
I know it sounds almost too good to be true.
How does simply focusing on what you're grateful for
Well,
actually change your self-talk?
it's all about rewiring your brain to focus on the positive.
Okay.
When you intentionally practice gratitude, you're training your mind to notice and appreciate the good things in your life,
Mm-hmm.
big or small.
Okay.
And this shift in focus can have a profound impact on your overall outlook and self-perception.
So instead of dwelling on what's wrong or what's missing,
Yeah.
you're actively seeking out and acknowledging those
Exactly.
positive aspects
You're focusing on the abundance
of your life,
rather than the scarcity.
even amidst the challenges or setbacks.
Right? Even when things are tough.
Right. And the beautiful thing about gratitude is that it's something that anyone can
Anyone can do it.
incorporate
It's a simple practice.
into their daily routine.
You can keep a gratitude journal, share what you're grateful for with a loved one,
Right.
or simply take a few moments each day to reflect on the blessings in your life.
So it sounds like gratitude is more than just a feel-good practice.
It is.
It's like a powerful tool for rewiring our brains.
It's a way to retrain your brain
the positivity.
to focus on the good.
And what about the people and environments that we surround ourselves with?
Ah, yes, our social circles and environments.
Do those have an impact on our self-talk?
Absolutely.
Okay.
The people we spend time with and the environments we inhabit have a profound influence
Okay.
on our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors.
Okay.
The article highlights the importance of surrounding yourself
Yeah.
with positive, supportive people who uplift you and inspire you.
So it's like choosing to be in a garden of positivity instead of a field of negativity.
I love that analogy.
I've definitely noticed that spending time with certain people just leaves me feeling drained
Yeah.
and discouraged.
It's like they drain your energy.
Yeah, while others energize and inspire me.
Exactly. It's about being mindful of the energy you allow into your life.
Right.
If you're constantly surrounded by negativity and criticism,
Yeah.
it's going to be much harder to cultivate a positive inner dialogue.
That makes perfect sense. What about the content that we consume?
Oh, that's a big one.
Does that play a role in
Absolutely.
shaping our self-talk?
The books we read,
Yeah.
the shows we watch,
Okay.
the music we listen to,
Mm-hmm.
even the social media feeds we scroll through,
Right.
all contribute to the overall tone and tenor of our inner world.
So if I'm constantly bombarded with negative news
Yeah.
and drama, it's going to be harder to maintain a positive mindset.
It's like feeding your mind a steady diet of junk food.
Right.
It might provide temporary satisfaction. Yeah. But ultimately, it's not nourishing or sustainable.
So what's the antidote?
Be intentional about the content you consume.
Okay.
Choose to read books that inspire you. Watch shows that make you laugh.
Right.
Listen to music that uplifts your spirits.
So curate a media experience
Exactly.
that supports your
Yeah.
mental and emotional well-being.
It's about creating a positive and supportive inner environment.
And don't underestimate the power of nature.
Oh, yes. Nature is a powerful healer.
Spending time outdoors, whether it's a walk in the park,
Absolutely.
a hike in the woods, or just sitting in your backyard,
Yeah.
can do wonders for your mental
It can.
and emotional state.
Nature has a way of calming the mind
Yeah.
and restoring a sense of peace and balance.
I can definitely attest to that whenever I'm feeling stressed
Yeah.
or overwhelmed. A walk in nature always seems to help me clear my head and gain a fresh perspective.
It's like hitting the reset button.
So we talked about journaling, challenging negative thoughts, reframing affirmations, gratitude, surrounding ourselves with positivity, and being mindful of our media diet.
It's a holistic approach.
Are there any other practical tips that you would recommend for transforming our self-talk?
Absolutely. One that I find particularly helpful is to pay attention to your body language.
Really?
Yeah. You might be surprised to learn that our physical posture
Okay.
and movements can actually influence our thoughts and feelings.
So if I'm slouching and frowning,
Exactly.
it's going to be harder to feel confident
It's going to be hard to feel positive.
and positive.
Yeah, try standing up straight.
Okay.
Shoulders back, head held high, smile.
Okay.
It might sound silly,
Okay.
but it can actually trick your brain into feeling more positive.
It's like faking it till you make it, but with
Your
your
body-
feeling good.
Mind-body connection is powerful.
I love it.
And don't forget about the power of movement. Exercise, dance, yoga, anything that gets your body moving can help release endorphins and boost your mood,
Right.
which can have a ripple effect on your self-talk.
It's like shaking off those
Yeah.
negative thoughts
Exactly.
and replacing them with energy and vitality.
Move your body, change your mind.
I've definitely noticed that when I'm feeling down, a good workout always helps me feel more positive
There you go.
and energized.
Your body and mind are working together.
And finally, and perhaps most importantly,
Yeah.
be patient with yourself.
Yes, this is key.
Changing your self-talk patterns takes
It takes time.
time and effort.
It's a journey, not a destination.
Yeah, it's easy to get discouraged
Yeah.
when those negative thoughts keep popping up.
Absolutely.
But it's important to remember that it's a process,
It's a process.
and every small step counts.
Every step in the right direction is a victory.
Don't get discouraged if you slip up
Yeah.
or have moments of negativity.
It's normal to have setbacks.
Just acknowledge those thoughts, challenge them, and gently redirect your focus back to the positive.
It's like training a muscle.
Yeah.
The more you practice, the stronger it becomes.
And remember, you're not alone in this journey.
You are not alone.
Everyone struggles with negative self-talk.
We all have that inner critic.
Yeah, the key is to be aware of it, challenge it,
Right.
and consciously choose to cultivate a more positive
Exactly.
and empowering inner dialogue.
It's about taking control of your inner world.
And just imagine the possibilities that open up.
Oh, the possibilities are endless.
When we learn to master this skill,
Increased confidence, improved performance, stronger relationships, a greater sense of well-being. The benefits are truly limitless.
wow, this deep dive has really been eye-opening.
It's been a fascinating exploration, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's like we often overlook this incredible
Right.
power that we have
Mm.
to, shape our own reality.
The power of our minds is truly remarkable.
And what I find so empowering is that it's not like some
Yeah.
magical transformation
It's not about
or overnight success.
poof, you're a new person.
Yeah, it's more about small, consistent
Yeah.
steps.
About steps over time.
And a willingness to really challenge those negative voices
missed
that I think we all have.
It's a journey of self-discovery and empowerment. And like any worthwhile journey, it requires effort, patience, and a good dose of self-compassion.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, let's recap some of the
Yeah.
key takeaways for our listeners.
Absolutely.
Just to make sure that, those nuggets of wisdom really sink in.
Let's do it.
First and
Yeah.
foremost,
Okay.
remember that self-talk is not
Right.
idle chatter.
It's not just background noise.
It has like a real tangible
It has a word impact.
impact on our emotions, behavior, relationships, even
Absolutely.
physical health.
It affects every aspect of our lives.
It's like having this constant narrator shaping the story of our lives.
It's the story we tell ourselves.
And we have the power to choose whether that narrator
We have the pen.
is a supportive friend or a relentless critic.
We get to decide.
And the good news is,
Yeah.
we don't have to be passive
Right.
listeners to this inner dialogue.
We can choose to change the channel.
We can actually challenge those negative thoughts,
Yeah.
reframe them into something more positive,
Exactly.
create a more empowering narrative for ourselves.
It's about rewriting the script.
And we talked about a lot of practical strategies
Yeah.
for doing just that.
We did?
From journaling and affirmations
Mhm.
to surrounding ourselves with positivity and practicing gratitude.
And remember those small steps, they add up over time.
And don't forget the power of body language
Oh, yeah.
and movement.
Our bodies and minds are connected.
Sometimes simply standing up straight and smiling
Right.
can shift our energy and make a huge difference.
It's like a power pose for the mind.
Yeah.
It can really change your state.
I was really struck by that idea that the
Yeah.
content we consume
Oh, yeah.
can actually shape
It's like food for the mind.
our self-talk.
We need to be mindful of what we're feeding our minds.
This whole deep dive has really given me a lot to think about.
It's been a thought-provoking conversation.
I feel like I have this whole new awareness of my
Yeah.
inner dialogue
That's great to hear.
and a renewed sense of agency in really shaping
Yeah.
my own thoughts and beliefs.
That's the power of awareness.
So as we leave our listeners with one final thought,
Okay.
what would you say is the most important thing to remember about
The most important thing.
the power of self-talk?
Well, the source material puts it beautifully. The words you repeatedly say to yourself have the power to shape your destiny.
That's a good one.
It's profound, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I encourage everyone listening to really pay attention to that inner dialogue.
Mhm.
What stories are you telling yourself?
Yeah.
Are they stories of courage and resilience,
Mhm.
or are they filled with doubt and limitation?
And if you could rewrite those stories,
Yeah.
what would they say?
What kind of future do you want to create?
That's a powerful question.
The answer lies within each of us.
So much for sharing your insights with us today.
It's been my pleasure.
It's been a truly enlightening conversation.
I hope our listeners feel empowered to really embrace the transformative power of self-talk.
And to all of our listeners, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the fascinating world of self-talk.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
We hope you gain some valuable tools and insights to start cultivating a more positive and empowering inner dialogue.
Absolutely.
Until next time, remember, you have the power to create the life you desire.
One thought at a time.
One thought at a time.